Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining KCG Connect's first workshop in the series to come. I'm Gauri Shankar and I represent KCG Connect. So we have today we have students, alumni, and staff joining us from KCG. So as we wait for the other participants to join, I would like to warmly welcome all of you for the workshop on Alibaba Cloud. And I would now like to invite Karthik Manoj, who is a Joint Secretary of Joint Treasurer of KSG Connect, to introduce the guest and to also open the workshop for the day. Karthik, over to you. Karthik, can you confirm if you're able to hear me? Karthik, can you confirm if you're able to hear me?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So you can go ahead with introducing Dr. Ferdin, and we can start with the workshop. Yeah.
Good evening, one and all present here. So let me introduce Dr. Ferdin Joe. Dr. Ferdin Joe John Joseph is currently an assistant professor with the Faculty of Information and Technology in Tai Nichi Institute of Technology, Bangkok. He graduated his bachelor and master's degrees in computer science and engineering from Anna University, Chennai during 2009 and 2011, respectively. He also got his PhD in computer science and information systems from the National Institute of Development Administration in Bangkok during 2015. His main area of research includes deep learning, IoT, and blockchain technology, and he has nearly a decade of experience in teaching. He has also published in peer-reviewed international conferences and journals. He is awarded as the most valuable professional with Alibaba Cloud since 2021. We warmly welcome Dr. Ferdin, and I declare the session open. Over to you, Doctor.
Yes, so let me share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hope my screen is visible. So please take a note of this link. So this link is where you can get the copy of my PowerPoint. Okay. So I'm given with enough introduction by Karthik. So I'm actually a cloud associate with Alibaba Cloud, and also recently I'm awarded as the most valuable professional by Alibaba Cloud. Today I'm going to deal with these three aspects. Firstly, so this workshop is for anyone who doesn't know anything about cloud computing, and it is also for giving a knowledge about Alibaba Cloud, and then I need to tell you why you need to learn about Alibaba Cloud. First aspect is that it is an emerging market which is taking a huge gains in the Southeast Asia and South Asia as well. So the Asian market is right now steering towards this Alibaba Cloud. Secondly, to learn about the cloud computing and to learn about the main aspects, like if you learn one cloud service provider, then it is easy to migrate to others. When it comes to Alibaba Cloud, it is relatively very cost efficient, like it's very affordable, and when comparing to the other providers. So once you learn these concepts, if you are interested to learn the other providers, then it is easy for you to migrate and learn. So that's the reason why I provide this lecture. So firstly, we will see to the introduction of cloud computing. So there is a definition which is given by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So this institution used to give a lot of protocols for the computing technologies like the networking and cloud computing. So their definition, according to NIST for cloud computing, is that it is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with a minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So this cloud model actually promotes an availability and is composed of 5 essential characteristics, 3 service models and 4 deployment models. And in the first part of this lecture, we are going to see about these 5 essential characteristics and the 3 service models. So I told about the 3 service models. They form the central ideas. They are utility computing, service-oriented architecture, and service-level architecture. You know, in computer network security, there is a triad of network security. We call it as confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Likewise, we have 3 centralized ideas which form as a pillar for cloud computing. They are utility computing, service-oriented architecture, and service-level agreement. And the properties of these service level agreement are high scalability and elasticity, high availability and reliability, high manageability and interoperability, high accessibility and portability, high performance and optimization. And with these properties, we enable the techniques like hardware virtualization, parallelized and distributed computing, and then web service. So what are these hardware virtualization? Is that we create virtual machines whenever we need, and we can remove them whenever we need as well. Like if we need an IT infrastructure, we need to spend a lot of money in buying the hardwares. Like we need the computers, we need the servers, we need the network infrastructure like the cabling and the IP configuration. So many things are there, and to buy the routers and switches. But in the cloud, you can do it automatically. The hardware is virtualized and it can work in the parallelized and the distributed computing environment. And it can be used for any web service. It can be a website or it can be a web app or anything you want, you can involve in cloud computing. So now we see this utility computing SOA and SLA, that is the service oriented architecture and service level agreement. So they give an aspect of 5 performance indicators: scalability, elasticity, availability, reliability, performance optimization, accessibility, portability, manageability, and interoperability. So these are the main properties of cloud computing. Now, what is scalability? I can tell one example. I don't want to pinpoint some website. You all know that you all belong to one university. That university used to publish results every semester. So the results will be coming in like some early morning or like in the midnight. And every one of you will keep flocking into your computer terminals and try to see the results. And that time, there will be a struggle. Some will get the access and some will find difficult to get the access. So this is a problem of scalability. That is, all your results are stored in a database, in a server. So there is a limitation that a database system can allow a certain number of people only into that particular database system. If it exceeds the excess number of people will not get any access. So this is the aspect of scalability. And then when the people get fed up with seeing their results, after maybe 6 or 7 hours after publishing of that result, Then if you go and check your results, if you were not getting access previously, that time you will get it, because the network traffic has gone lesser, and the number of people who are flocking into that database system will reduce by that time. So that time you will be able to do it. So this is a problem with the web apps and websites. So imagine, like, this is like within 1 second you want to have like maybe 100,000 or 200,000 students going to see their results. But imagine a system where they have billions of rows or trillions of rows or trillions of database entries. How will they able to see that information when so many users flock from all over the world? Imagine Facebook. How, like, currently at this instance, there will be like petabytes of data transferring, or at least in terabytes or exabytes, whatever magnitude it can be. But still you are able to log into Facebook. It's not like the university website where you check the results for your semester. How? They are using a cloud infrastructure, and they are virtualizing and creating the resources in virtual environment whenever you need more resources. So this is also cost efficient. So we are going to see that. Availability. As a result of this scalability, some people will get access and some people don't get the access. So to give access to everyone getting into that software is what we call as availability and reliability. They are achieved using having a fault tolerant system, and it requires system resilience and a reliable system security. So then we have the fault tolerant system. It is a property that enables a system to continue the operating properly in the event of failure of some of its components. So this is what we call as a fault tolerant system. You have a tolerance towards the faults. Like something wrong happens, it gives an immediate fix and it tries to go on. It tries to keep moving on. It's such an optimistic system, right? And there is no point of failure, and the fault detection and isolation of the failing component, the fault containment for preventing the propagation of the failure, and there is an availability of reversion modes. So in parallel processing, we have like multiple processes working on the same time. Like you have a course called operating systems, I guess. So in that one, we have a concept like the processes are pipelined based on certain algorithms or certain concepts. But in the parallel processing, you don't need to pipeline. At the same time, you can have the things done. When you have a graphics card or a GPU in your computer or laptop, it enables you to do the parallel processing. So that's how it works with your local computer. But in the server also, you need to do a lot of parallel processing, and there are a lot of options as well. There are many benefits from the cloud. So for the markets, like the companies, they can reduce the initial investment. They don't need to buy like the high-end servers and install it in their companies initially. If they really need their own dedicated server, then they can go. Otherwise, they can start with, they can go with the cloud servers. And then when they reduce the investment, they will reduce the capital in expenditure which they need to invest on. And this will definitely improve the industrial specialization and improves the resource utilization. So these are the options available with the markets and the enterprise systems. Now, what's the benefit at the end user or the individuals who are using this cloud computing system? They need to have a lesser local computing power. If they need to have their own server, then it will take a lot of computational power. But this is like the cloud, so they can use it in the browser. I will be showing some demonstrations on how to use it. then you will see like you don't really need any software, and you can just work it on, if you have Google Chrome, you can access that cloud like anything. Thereby, this will reduce the local storage power, and there are a variety of thin client devices in daily life. So this is the hype cycle for the computing infrastructure. So this hype cycle is published by Gartner.com. They used to give the hype cycle for many verticals in technology and many disruptive technologies. So the beauty of this hype cycle is that every year we can get to know how and how many years we can have a scope for these technologies. Okay, we learned this technology, how far we can go. In the olden days, we learned some basic visual basic or some visual programming. And if you learn those things nowadays, it's not enough. You need to go for some advanced technologies like the cloud native or the Kubernetes or like the Hadoop or something like that. So likewise, if you want to know about the trends and technologies, you need to go to see these hype cycles published by Gartner. So here you can see this quantum computing is having the maximum hype in 2020. The 2021 graph is still not released. So it is having a scope of more than 10 years. So if you go into quantum computing, it has a scope of 10 years. But to learn and to practice, the hardware is still not available in an easier level. There are some cloud-based systems, but again, it goes into the cloud systems. So if you see the cloud tethered compute, it has a scope of like almost 5 years, and serverless infrastructure automation, container management. So these all get with uh, the the Kubernetes. And then we have like all this, just cloud computing is not going to have much scope in the near future. We are just moving on to the serverless infrastructure, that is the decentralization and parallel processing of the system. So now we have like 5 cloud computing providers in terms of market share in 2020. Alibaba Cloud is the 5th largest cloud provider. You may ask me like, are these the only providers available in the market? Definitely not. There are so many others available. Alibaba Cloud is from China, but it has been now, this Alibaba group is now being alienated by the Chinese government because they need like the fully China oriented thing. So some politics is going on, but still Alibaba Cloud is being they are moving towards the other countries, and they are been growing at a faster pace. But anyway, we see like Amazon Web Services like around 32% of the current market share. So like this 32 plus 18, 50 and 58, 63, 68% of these are covered by these 5 providers. And then what about the remaining 32%? So there are a number of providers. So then we have the Alibaba Cloud global infrastructure. So we have the Alibaba Cloud's timeline. It was recently started. If you see the history of Amazon Web Service or Google Cloud, it has been there for more than 20 years now. Alibaba Cloud is founded in 2009, and its R&D centers were opened in Beijing, Hangzhou, and Silicon Valley, and that is in United States. And then they started their first data center in 2010. And then in 2014, they extended their data centers to Beijing, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. And then in 2017, they announced that they are going to be the infrastructure partner for the Olympic Games at the World Economic Forum in Davos. That means the recently uh, conducted Tokyo Olympics 2020 and the Paralympics 2020 were supported by Alibaba Cloud. So that's why you can see like Alibaba Cloud always carries the Olympic rings also as a part of its logo. And in 2018, it came into the Gartner's Magic Quadrant. So what is this Magic Quadrant? It will tell about the various cloud providers. So in July 2019, we see that Alibaba Cloud just started as a challenger. And within the next few years, like within the next couple of years, it went from challengers to the niche players. From niche players, it has gone to visionaries, and from you can see from visionaries, it may have like very little distance towards this Amazon Web Services. So this is the growth of Alibaba Cloud as of now. So maybe in a couple of years or more, we can maybe see Alibaba Cloud as also a leader. So we have a video. I need to display it. This video I want to show for how Alibaba Cloud is transforming the industry in Indonesia. So let me share that video with you.
Dr. Ferdin, I think the sound was not shared.
But we have the subtitle.
Yeah, audio not shared, Dr. Ferdin.
The audio is not audible?
Yes,
No,
yes,
no.
yes. Yeah, while sharing the screen itself, you would have chosen the share with the audio. So there is an option is there.
Oh, okay. Let me do it from the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kopi Kenangan, we have grown from a small standalone coffee shop with a grab and go concept to over 400 stores across Indonesia today. We have this one cup, one customer mentality. As our business continue to grow, we realize that we need a solution that can allow Kopi Kenangan to differentiate itself and bring the best of our brick and mortar cafe experience online. That is why Alibaba Cloud came to mind, because we needed to digitalize and grow faster. This includes consolidating online transaction and processing data for intelligence to help streamline operations. Since the government regulation mandate that we need a local data center, Alibaba Cloud definitely is the cloud solution that has a strong local data center with expertise in Indonesia. With Alibaba Cloud, we are moving up the stack to focus on delivering more value to our customers.
Our journey with Alibaba Cloud starting in January 2020, where we launched our new retail management system covering end-to-end process, from online to offline, and also from pickup and delivery. With a scalable and reliable cloud infrastructure from Alibaba Cloud, we can now provide seamless and agile customer experience even during our peak hours. Serving time has been reduced to a maximum 30 minutes. Now, our customer can enjoy their coffee without waiting for long queue in the store. During Harmanas, our third year anniversary in August 2020, our order have increased 20-fold and we hit the peak of 1800 transactions per second. However, processing time and app function were not affected at all. We are even able to reduce waiting time for the customer. We are able to scale up resource according to the traffic volume that time and operate more efficiently. This is all thanks to the support of Alibaba Cloud Container for Kubernetes. The cost saving and the agility we have gained from ACK and microservice architecture are valuable as we continue to operate during COVID-19 and also in the future. We can now speed up our order processing time and handle large database transactions with little or no replication lag. This is achieved with Alibaba Cloud PolarDB, which runs at 6 times the speed of standard MySQL database. In this challenging time, making smart decisions and managing data efficiently is very crucial. That is when data warehouse fit in perfectly. We built our data warehouse on Alibaba Cloud Analytic DB for PostgreSQL and DataWorks. The data warehouse has become our main source of information for report generation, for analysis, presentation, and also our dashboard. So far, we have been impressed by Alibaba Cloud's agility and flexibility. Not only they provide great real-time support, which is very fast, they also up to date on the technological innovation that cater the requirement for Indonesian market. In fact, some of their product and feature were launched to suit our specific needs.
So far, our focus has always been on offline to online migration. We hope to eventually look at how intelligence and data can further boost efficiency, customer experience, and product quality. We also plan to explore digital assistants, AI, chatbots, and conversational commerce in the near future. Customers really value shopping as an experience, not just as a transaction. It's not only about speed and convenience. The whole point is making technology does not feel like technology. We believe that Alibaba Cloud can be the reliable partner for us to reach that goal in the future. Since coffee is not just about science, it's about personal connection too. Our partnership with Alibaba has been nothing but great technology and great innovation, along with that important human touch. We want to keep working together, hand in hand, towards that goal in the medium and long-term future.
So that's a case study. We have a lot of these kind of stories, and now I'm going to explain about the various importances of Alibaba Cloud. So let me. So this is the Alibaba Cloud portfolio, which has the products listed. So there are so many products provided by Alibaba Cloud, and we see this ECS. And today we are going to discuss about 4 products among these, which are very important. Elastic Compute Service, that is the ECS, and then this auto scaling, and then we will see about this object storage service, and then we will see about the server load balancer, and after that we have like this RDS, that is the relational data system. And also it provides a lot of big data and AI solutions, and all. I think we can even do a lot of GPU based computing, that's for like deep learning and many other things. So for an first product we see is the Elastic Compute Service. So in Elastic Compute Service, it has a single instance availability of 99.975%, multi-zone instances of 99.995%, and then it is having a coverage of around, now it is 24 regions, worldwide coverage, and then 3.2 gigahertz and of the turbo boost. And within 10 minutes, we can create 100 virtual machines. So that is the speed which is provided by Alibaba Cloud. And also like the cost, certain products are free to use. Like for example, the auto scaling is free, which I will discuss later. And some of these products which are available, we have like the following payment models. So firstly, we have the subscription, and then we have the pay as you go. A subscription one which you see here, it is like you pay for a month or you pay for totally for an year, and the pay as you go is like you pay only for the time you use that particular resource. So in elastic compute, we have the general purpose instances, which is used for the small and medium sized databases. And then we have the compute optimized instances, which is used for the web service, which needs to host your big website. And then for memory optimized instances, which is used for data mining and data storage. And then for high performance computing, we have the high clock speed instances. And also it provides SSD disk instances. Like if you want like a very reliable, like high quality data disk storage, then they provide like local SSD disk services also. It will cost a little bit more than those. And then it is used for big data instances, which uses the MapReduce and distributed file systems. And finally, they use the SAP instance. And then we have like for these are like for individual computing, but then we have the heterogeneous computing, which is used for GPU as well as FPGA. So this GPU, they are used with deep learning, video processing and visualization and various other scientific computing. And this FPGA are used for genomic research. The genome data, like if you take one gene data, like a DNA data, it will be like some terabytes. If you want to analyze the whole of those data, like recently we saw the image of a black hole which has been recorded with tons of images. Like it goes with a hard disk, like around 24 hard disk of at least 1 terabyte of data. So that much data can be processed using this FPGA based instances. And all these instances are like we call as bare metal instances, and they have like 20% performance increase when compared to the physical server, like the standalone systems. And more than these heterogeneous computing, we have high performance compute, which performs the supercomputing clusters. Like we have like multiple heterogeneous computing systems stacked together to form a cluster. So this cluster is also possible with the help of Alibaba Cloud. Now we are going to see about the Alibaba Cloud products. So these are the various important Alibaba Cloud products. First one we see about is the CDN. What exactly is the CDN? CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. You all use Facebook, you all use WhatsApp, you all use many social media platforms. Have you ever wondered like where these images and the videos uploaded get stored in? So they are always stored in these kind of content delivery networks. And also they have like various other kind of services like ECS, OSS, RDS, internet and intranet server load balancing. And then they provide anti-DDoS, that is anti-denial of service, distributed denial of service. And so many other products are also available. So we are going to see a handful of the products which will give you a primer about this Alibaba Cloud's products. So before going into the products, we need to know about on-premises, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and the software as a service. So in on-premises, you need to buy everything, like right from the storage space, right from the servers, networking, virtualization, operating system software, and the middlewares, and then the database systems and applications. Everything is your responsibility. So that is all managed by the user. When it comes to infrastructure as a service, up to the level of virtualization, we have the system ready. On top of this virtualized system, we need to install the operating system. Then we need to have the middleware runtime and data and application. So it looks interesting, right? So it kind of reduces the amount of work done by the user. Then when it comes to the platform as a service, it even automates certain levels more. It goes up to the runtime, and then only the data and application are left behind. And then when finally when we go for this SaaS, that is a software as a service, even up until the level of applications and the software level, everything has been pre-installed, and you don't need to have any hardware support or anything like that. So there is a book called 21 Lessons for 21st Century, which is written by Yuval Noah Harari, and I hope some of you would have read it. So it says a criteria called the useless class. So that useless class and the useful class, it deals with the skill set which is needed to sustain with a job. So those who are able to sustain with a job within the near future are called as the useful class, and those whose jobs can be replaced by machines or these kind of cloud automations, they belong to that useless class. So then you can imagine how they are losing their jobs. And there had been a long-term blame that many people used to say that some migrants are coming and taking all our jobs, something like that. You hear these kind of stories all over the world, but it's not true. It's the automation which is taking out the jobs of people, like the manual jobs are getting phased out. So that's the reality. So it's time for you to think about how you can work more than a mission, like how you can be smart, how you can create a mission. If you are able to create a mission, then you can sustain. So that's the key now. And today we are going to explore these products, Elastic Compute Service, Server Load Balancer, and then auto scaling and object storage service. So firstly, we see about the Elastic Compute Service. So this Elastic Compute Service, or in short we call as ECS, is a computing service with a flexible processing capacity. When compared to the physical servers, ECS can easily deploy and manage the applications with better stability and security. How you can understand this ECS? You might have heard about virtualization. There in the past, we all have like the softwares like VMware or VirtualBox, and then we try to create a mission virtually inside our computer. But in case if we need like more than 50 computers like that in virtualized environment, it's not possible to do it in any standalone server which is available with you. So in that case, we go into the cloud, and especially in Alibaba Cloud, we have this ECS, that is the Elastic Compute Service. And they provide the aspects of security, stability, automation, elasticity, and the high performance network. So here you can see what are the things done for the ECS. If it is without the cloud, you need to do right from the networking until the installation of the applications. But for ECS, up to the level of virtualization, everything is done. Only the operating system until the applications are done. So it sounds something like a platform as a service, right? See here, it's like an infrastructure as a service. So up to the virtualization, everything is done, and from the operating system to application, it's done by the user. That's what we see here. We need to manage only this part, right from the operating system till the application. So how we can understand? We have the data centers, and in that data centers there will be like a numerous server racks, and within these servers we have the virtualization system which has the hard disk. On top of that we have the virtual machines, which is called as Zen or kernel virtual machine. So for creating this kind of virtual machines is called as Elastic Compute. So how it looks like in the data center, in the various cluster of servers, we have the data centers, and then on top of the data center we have the Linux cluster. So this Linux cluster has the distributed file system called the Pangu. So in Alibaba Cloud, the distributed file system is known as Pangu. Just like we have Hadoop in Google, we have Fusey for jobs scheduling for Alibaba Cloud, and we have the products of ECS, RDS, OSS, Table Store, and Max Compute. So this table store and max compute are used for mainly for big data systems. And then on top of these services, we have the API. Now this is the current scenario of the ECS instances creation. So we have the regions and zones. So totally we have like 24 Alibaba Cloud regions as of now. So the latest one was opened in Jakarta in Indonesia. So you may wonder, do we really have a data center? We have one data center as of now. Alibaba Cloud's data center is located in Mumbai. And even you can create your instances from being in India, you can create it in Mumbai. Or if you feel like Singapore is nearby to you, then you can choose Singapore, or you can choose Kuala Lumpur or Jakarta. For me, Kuala Lumpur is nearby, so I use it. And it is even available in Asia Pacific in Sydney, and in Europe, in London, and in US they have like 2 data centers. So in these 24 regions, we have like 75 zones. So within these regions, we have multiple zones. And all these regions combined, we have like 2,800 content delivery network nodes, and they span in over 70 countries as of now. So now we need to know about the difference between the zone and the regions. Regions are where we have the data centers, and zone is like within the data centers we have like multiple zones, like zone A, zone B, zone Z. It's like an expansion of the infrastructure. The choice is based on the distribution policies. We create the resources in multiple zones, and it is giving high availability and high disaster recovery. And then we create the resources in the same zone, which has the lower network latency. So now we see this, the case of Singapore's region and zones. Singapore is one of the 24 region, and in that Singapore's region we have 2 zones, zone A and zone B. If you create an ECS instance within this Singapore zone A, and if you contact the ECS instance in zone B, then it will be like you are accessing an intranet, so it doesn't charge you much, anything. But from Singapore zone A, if you want to contact the ECS instance in Beijing zone A, then it needs to go through the VPN gateway, and then it needs to use the internet. Of course, it will charge something. So that's pricey. Otherwise, within the zone or within the region, it is free. So an ECS instance is a virtual computing environment, including CPU, memory storage, and other fundamental components required to run a modern operating system. That is what presented to the user. And the ECS provides a wide selection of instances, families, and types optimized to fit different use cases. And these ECS instance types comprise varying combination of CPU, memory storage, and networking capacity. We use this for 4 types of ECS instances. We have the burstable, general type, memory type, compute optimized type. So we have this coding T6, G6, R6, and C6. So we see this instances families. How to identify the families? The first part we see this ECS is the product, and then we have G6. So this is the instance family. What is G6? It is the general type we see here. The general type is G6. So we have this G6. So then we have this number 6 in this G6. It is the generation of that instance. Now we have G7 also, because Alibaba has released its 7th generation of ECS instances. And then we have this 3x large is the instance type. And these instance families, we have the choice of the right ECS type for our workload. So T6 or S6, we use it for small websites or the web applications. And then for G5 or G6, we use it for web servers which you need higher performance. And then for small and mid-sized databases, we use the IC5 and C5 compute instances, and D2 and D1 are used for big data systems like the Hadoop products like Hive or HBase or Spark, and so many of these. And then we have this R5 and RE systems of instances. We use it for the high performance databases, data mining and analysis. And in enterprise instance families for the input output intensive applications, we have for OLTP and high performance relational databases, NoSQL databases, like Cassandra or MongoDB, all are available in there. And then if you have the instances of family H, it is for high clock speed, and these are like the standalone normal processor based computing. And then we have this GPU based things and the FPGA based ECS families. We have this VGN6i, GN6i, GN6P, and GN6E. They are the enterprise instance families for the workloads requiring the GPU. They are used for augmented reality or virtual reality, and then deep or machine learning. And then they are used for many AI applications and scientific computing. And F3 is the family which is used for FPGA. They are used for deep learning, genomics, and financial applications, and so many applications are available in that. That's a massive one. So in the payment systems, we have the pay as you go, that is, you pay for the compute capacity by the second. So how many seconds you have used that service, then you will be billed for. So it will bill you for the actual resource usage, and no long-term commitments for upfront payments. And then for the subscription, we have the significant discount of up to 85% when compared to the pay-as-you-go instance pricing. In case if you have a bigger system and you need like 24/7 availability, then you can go for the subscription mode. But if you want to have like very few time, like very few number of users, then you can go for this pay-as-you-go. And then we are going to see about the server load balancer. Before that, I would like to show a demonstration on how to create an ECS instance. So this is the Alibaba Cloud website. So I need to just log in. So once you log in, you get into this and you just see this. There is a thing called the console over here in the right top corner. So just click on this console. And right now I haven't created any ECS instances running actively because it takes a lot of pricing. So recently I have used this VPC or file storage using NAS Elastic Compute Service. You can see the history of what I have used. I just used this account for this demonstration. And then we create an Alibaba Cloud ECS. You can click on over here. Otherwise, if you don't see anywhere, you just click over here in the search and search Elastic, and then it will list down the products. We need the Elastic Compute Service, so click on this. So we need to create an instance. So we create instance using clicking this one. So here firstly we need to choose what kind of billing you need. I choose pay as you go because it will charge only for the usage. So right now there is a new data center. I cried after reading this text. It is somewhere in Southeast Asia. It's a new data center, and that's the reason why they are giving a lesser price, like $0.0112. Like if you go for various other data center, from being in India, you cannot create a data center in China. I mean, you cannot use the data centers in China until you authenticate yourself as a user of Alipay. But you can use any data center outside China that's safe for you to use. You can use Singapore, Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, Silicon Valley, or US, Virginia. You can even choose the Middle East and India. They have the option like Dubai and Mumbai. So if you choose this India, Mumbai, then you can see the price will be instantly calculated. So they provide the Indian server for Indian data center is for 0.108 USD per hour. So this is based on hourly basis. So in India, this is the data center region. India is a region. And in this region of data center, we have two zones, zone A and zone B. So right now we have chosen random. That means it can create in zone A or zone B. But if you want to choose in a different zone, you can choose specifically you need zone B or you need zone A. You can see the difference of price. See, zone B is 0.108 US dollar per hour, but in the case of zone A, it is 0.102 US dollars per hour. And then we have the instance type selection, or even you can go for the scenario type. What kind of scenario you have, you can choose from there, or you can choose based on the type. So normally I go for this type, so I filter it. How many CPUs we need? I need only one CPU. And what is the type of CPU I need? I just choose this 0.1 GIB. So then you can see like it is belonging to the burstable type T5. So I just click on this. And we don't need the burstable instance. And we create like 1 units. And then go down. So what kind of operating system we need? You don't really need to install the operating system as well. You can just select. You can go for a public image operating system or a custom image or a shared image or a marketplace image. But we can just search in the public image. In public image, we have like these all operating systems available, like Alibaba Cloud, Analysis OS, CentOS. Alibaba Cloud is a Linux cluster we have, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux, all types of Linux is available. And if you need Windows, you need to go for a different kind of instance. Let's say I want to use Alibaba Cloud Linux, and then I choose the version. I need this 64-bit 3.2104. And then you can specify the disk, whether you want the ultra disk or the standard SSD. So now I click on the standard SSD, you just to see how much it changes the price. See, it has gone to like 0.0102, 0.018 US dollars per hour. And then you can, if you want to have a backup, you can create a backup using this. So I have not enabled the service, so you have to enable it to do that. And then after setting all these parameters, you have to click on this next button. Then we confirm the product features and purchase. So there is something wrong, it's not creating, because for this feature it is not allowing the burstable one. So I go for the current generation. So I choose this one CPU. And you can choose the architectures, x86 architecture, ARM processor, heterogeneous computing, easiest bare metal instance, or even you want the local SSD. If you click on this local SSD, you can see the price. It goes more like 0.348 US dollar per hour. Or if you go for like a bigger one, enhanced, and then you can go for general purpose. So I choose the 2 version CPUs. It has 8 gigabyte memory, and this is the Intel Xeon is given. So I use this for 0.110 US dollar per hour, and then everything is perfect. And then I click on this next. So here you can see so many other parameters. I just select like bandwidth billing as pay by traffic, and then I select all and then next. So here you can select the key pair, or you can create one. So I create the instance name as launch advisor 2021-0925. So this is the name of the instance. It will give an automatic name, but then you can also change. But once the instance name is created, it cannot be renamed, but it can be deleted. So then I just ignore this. I click next. So here you can see the preview. So I have got the billing method as pay as you go. It is the instance from Mumbai Zone A, and then we have the Alibaba Cloud Linux operating system, and then we have these options. If you want, you can choose them, and then you see here the total for this instance is 0.110 US dollars per hour, and then we have the internet traffic fees of 0.090 US dollar per gigabyte. So for each gigabyte of download and upload, like the internet traffic, this is something like we are having the mobile top up, like we have the net card, we call it in the olden days. I don't know how you have it in India now. Like for each and every gigabyte we used to pay, like that we have this internet traffic fees. Like this is for a per gigabyte you have to pay like 0.090 US dollar per hour, and then this is the charge for creating the instance. Then if you click on this create instance, then I click on this sign and purchase. So it is created. So I go to the console. See, the instance is created. And then you have like many other services as well. If you want to buy the same type of instance again, then you can do it. Instance status, it is getting started now. So you can start, stop, or restart, or release the instance. So then the instance settings, we have these. So see here, now it is running. So if I go here, so the instance status, we can see this stop, restart, and release. And instance settings, you have these options. And then the password, you can set your password. And then to check the configuration, so instead if you want to change the pay as you go and go for the bandwidth, you can choose from here, and then you can create a custom image using the diskant image. And then here we have the security group, where it will try to prevent the attacks on the ECS instances, and this is the troubleshooting. But now I don't want this ECS instance. So what I will do, I will go to this instance status and then click on this release. But before that, we have to stop it. So I just click on this stop. So I just use this economy mode. I am now being billed for having the number of seconds. Each second it will bill me. If I have it for 1 hour, I'll get a charge of like 0.011 US dollar. But I don't need it. I am not doing anything with it. So I just need to release it. So in instance status, go and release it. So you can read it here, like after you release the instance, the resources such as the disk attached to the instances may be retained and continued to be charged. You must confirm whether the related resources must be manually released or whether the release disk instance is enabled. So you can just give this release now. Then you click on this next. Then it will ask, are you sure you want to release these instances? We recommend you to back up the data, because if you release the instances, whatever the data you have stored inside, it will be deleted. So we have already stopped this. So then we are going to release it. Okay. See, there is no instance now. And I have not created any instances. So you can click on this and then you can do this ECS instances. So that's a short demonstration on ECS instances, and now we will go on with the another product, that is the server load balancer. Next product is server load balancer. So here we see the people are trying to access one ECS instance which is created. So that's normal, right? So you create a web server using the ECS instances and the people are accessing that. And if the number of people increases, when you have more number of people coming to access that ECS instance, then the ECS instance will start to struggle. So in that case, we need to have more ECS instance. Okay. We create as many number of ECS instances. So in this case, how will you control or manage which ECS instance you need to use? Then we need to have the concept of server load balancer. The server load balancer will balance the load coming towards that server, and it will equally schedule. This is like a scheduling algorithm you learn in operating systems. This is where you need to think about those concepts you learn in operating systems. So this load balancer is used to route the incoming request to multiple ECS instances. It will send to each and every ECS instance based on the availability. So it will be efficiently managed with the resources. And the server load balancer is a traffic distribution control service that distributes the incoming traffic among multiple elastic compute service instances according to the configured forwarding rules. It has a high availability of 99.95% service availability for multi-zone SLB. And then we have a scalability factor of scale your service without interrupting the service continuity. And it has a low cost service. It reduces the cost by 60% compared to the traditional hardware load balancing systems, and it gives a high security, like up to 5 gigabyte per second. It gives a defense against the DDoS, that is the distributed denial of service attacks. And this is the architecture of server load balancer. It is in the OSI model of computer networks. We have the layer 4 and the layer 7. So in layer 7, it uses a Tenjin, that is a web server project based on Nginx. And then it uses a Linux virtual server in the layer 4. So in layer 7, it uses the protocols of HTTP and HTTPS. That is, it is the application layer. And in the layer 4, it is a network layer which uses the TCP and UDP protocol. So in the layer 4 network, it supports both the transmission control protocol and UDP, and the incoming client connection bound to the server connection, and there is no modification of header which is involved in this layer 4. So we have the user, and then the load balancer will take to the web backend, and then it goes to the database. And in the layer 7 architecture, it supports the HTTP and HTTPS. A connection is terminated at the load balancer and pulled to the server. The headers may be modified, and X forwarded for header contains the client IP address. So this is the server load balancer architecture at the layer 7 application. And in SLB components, we have the listeners and the backend servers. So we have the load balancer in the server load balancer, and each load balancer will have a listener inside. So the listener will wait for a client request and forwards the request to the backend servers. So these backend servers are the easiest instances which we need to create additionally. Like for example, I gave an example of the university publishing the results. So they can use this Alibaba cloud-based system, and they can use the product of ECS instances and SLB. So they can schedule like this many number of instances has to be created when the result is released, and then it has to go down when there is no need. So that is a schedule. We can have like within this number of hours, you can have it active, and then it has to remove. So the payment also is available. We have for public network. If you are using the internet, you can use it with the pay as you go mode. And if it is in a private network, it is totally free. Then we have the product of auto scaling. Auto scaling is normally used for video streaming and gaming. I think this is quite popular among KC Tech students. Like when I was a student there was a huge craze on the gaming. Like the guys used to play with a lot of the online games, and they used to worry a lot about the future of latency when they play a game called Counter-Strike. So that's an aspect which needs to be addressed with the help of this cloud computing. When more number of people enter into that gaming server, then the network quality reduces. To improve that, we need to have more number of terminals, like more number of ECS instances to meet with the demand. When there is more demand, more ECS instances has to be created. When there is less demand, the surplus ECS instances has to be removed. That is the aspect of gaming. We have this on demand, which adjusts the resources to fit in the demand curve in the real time. You don't need to have worry about the compute capacity when the demand surges occur. And then we have the automated. So it will automatically create and release the ECS instances based on the policies you specify. We configure the SLB and RDS whitelist when there is no manual operation. So then we have the auto scaling properties. So firstly, we have the elastic scaling. This will release the ECS instances which are created when the demand decreases or when there is no demand at all. That is what we call as auto scaling, elastic scaling. And then we have self-healing. When you create the ECS instances using auto scaling, it will keep checking the health, how that particular ECS instance is performing. If there is any ECS instance which is not performing well, it will detect that instance and automatically it will replace with another new ECS instance. So this is what we call as the auto scaling, elastic self-healing. And then we have elastic scale out. It will add more and more ECS instance. Like here in the right side, you can see like the ECS instances are added. And when the CPU load average is more than 80%, we are adding 2 ECS instances. And you can monitor this using the Cloud Monitor tool. The Cloud Monitor tool is also available with Alibaba Cloud. And when the CPU load average is getting less than 30%, then the new instances which you have created during the demand time is not needed. So you can just remove those ECS instances. And so those ECS instances are removed and then it gets freed. So we have these functions with auto scaling. We have the scheduled auto scaling and dynamic auto scaling. It supports the server load balancers auto configuration, and it supports the relational data service access whitelist auto configuration. These are the various terminologies available with the auto scaling concepts. Now, how that auto scaling works. Firstly, it creates a scaling group, and then we configure the minimum and the maximum number of ECS instances in the scaling group. So we mention like what is the maximum and the minimum CPU usage. If it is exceeding the maximum, then we need to add the ECS instance. Like that, you can set the policy. And then we create the scalings configuration. We configure that ECS instances which are created by the auto scaling. And the aspect is that auto scaling is totally free, but you need to be careful. When you have free auto scaling, of course, using auto scaling is free, but it is creating ECS instances. When you create ECS instances using auto scaling, there is no charge for auto scaling, but there is a charge for the ECS instances created. You will only get charged for the usage of ECS instances under that auto scaling. Okay, then you enable the scaling group with the scaling configuration which is created in the scaling configuration. Then we create the scaling rule, and that is to create how many ECS instances. We create a scheduled task, and then it is used to trigger the scaling rule, for example, for a particular time. Then we have an alarm. For example, we need to add one ECS instance when the average, that is a maximum or minimum CPU usage, is greater than or equal to 80. So this is like the rules you set, and all these are monitored using a free tool called Cloud Monitors API. So this is what I mentioned. It is a free service, but you have to look on to the easiest charges. Next product we are going to see about the Object Storage Service, or the OSS. This is the traditional way of storage of files in systems. Normally we used to have the files and then the folders and then various configurations, and then we migrate towards the block storage. I'm sorry. So after this block storage, we started having this object storage. So we store the files in the form of objects. So storing these objects in the cloud, we call it as object storage service. So in traditional storage server, we have this kind of rack servers. When the volume of the data rises rapidly, we need to upgrade everything. So we need to keep buying the servers more and more. This object storage service is very good for images and multimedia data, like huge amount of videos can be stored, and it can be proving a good fortune. We need to enhance the data backup, and we need to give data security, and also we need to have a cost control. That's why we go for this object storage service. So when it comes to the traditional storage and the object storage service will have an upper hand because it can handle a massive volume, and it is easy to scale, and it has an enterprise security with a high availability and pay as you go with lower cost. And this OSS provides these features of scalability, simplicity, security, inclusiveness, availability. So in scalability, it gives a massive volume of about 50 petabytes for a single bucket. That is, you can create an object storage service bucket that the storage is named as bucket. I will show you a demonstration, you will understand about the bucket. And then you can have like a massive number of objects in there. You can have as many number of images until the size of 50 petabytes. And in simplicity, it uses the RESTful API, which is accessible from anywhere, anytime. And the flexible object size is varying from 0 to 48.8 terabytes. That is, you can have any number of objects, but each object should not exceed more than 48.8 terabytes. So it can have like 0 to 48.8 terabytes of data. And then we have the flexible upload. That is, we have the normal, multi-part and append, a managed service, and we have monitoring, metrics, and access log. And in security, we have multi-layer protection and distributed denial of service, multi-user isolation, and it provides comprehensive logs to help trace the malicious access. And in availabilities, we have 3 replica, which has 99.99999999% of data reliability, and the service availability is like up to 99.99%, and automatic service expansion and automatic failover with cross-region replication. So this is quite interesting. Like you can have like a cross-region replication. You create a copy in one data center, and that can be made as a copy, and it can be replicated in various regions all over the world. And in inclusiveness, it has a rich integration of other Alibaba cloud services like eMapReduce, Max Compute, Analytic DB, and DLA are all included. EBS snapshot and RDS snapshot and Docker image. So this comes under the Kubernetes. So you create the Docker images for the instances you create. And then it has the tools of RAM, STS, Cloud Monitor, and SLS. So these are the advantages of object storage. So now we see about an object. An object is a fundamental entity stored within an OSS bucket. So this object has these 3 attributes. They are key, data, and metadata. So these are the aspects available with the object. And this key, it has a unique object name, and the data, we have the user data, and the metadata, we have the key value that expresses the object's attributes. So the data portion is opaque to object storage service. The size of an object varies with the upload method. The multi-part upload supports objects of up to 48.8 terabytes, and other upload methods only support objects of up to 5 gigabyte. So that is, you can have one bucket using this objects having key, data, and metadata. So the total amount of storage allowed inside a object bucket is 48.8 terabyte. But you can have multiple objects inside. Each object can have up to 5 gigabyte of size. And the buckets serve as the containers for the object stored in object storage service. And every object must be kept in a bucket. The bucket name is globally unique in the object storage service, and it cannot be changed. There is no limit on the number of objects in each bucket, and the application can have one or more buckets. We organize the OSS namespace at the highest level, and it plays a role in access control and serve as a unit of aggregation for usage reporting. So these are the aspects of OSS. So it is very well needed for serverless computing or Kubernetes. So now we see the key is an object's unique identifier. Every object in a bucket has exactly one key. The combination of bucket and key uniquely identifies each object. So we have the address which looks like this HTTPS protocol, that is a protocol we see here. And then we have the bucket name. So this is the unique bucket name we give. It looks like the domain name. And then we have the endpoint, that's the access point from where we create that bucket. And then we need give the object name, that is the key. This is one image file. So that image is taken as this way. So this object key, it can have a size of maximum 1024 bytes, and it is unique within the bucket, and it includes the path prefixes. So this is an example object key. So it has the path. So it is normally used for web hosting the static website. You can host your entire static website on OSS for a low cost, highly available hosting solution that can scale automatically to handle any load. Then with the OSS, you can reliably serve your traffic and handle unexpected peaks without worrying about scaling your infrastructure or managing servers. So for OSS monitoring, we monitor your site's key metrics via the Cloud Monitor. The Cloud Monitor dashboard displays the overall statistics. It will give like the usage of, just like the channel monitor in YouTube channels. Like you have your Cloud Monitor dashboard, which will give the statistics of the usage of data and how it is performing, all those information. And then I will go ahead with the demonstration of OSS now. So I need to search for the product. Just search like object storage service. Click on this. So right now I have one bucket which is created in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So if I click on this view bucket, it will show like I have already created this bucket. So in case if you want to create a bucket, you need to just click on this create bucket. And then you need to give a name. I give it like JDP. So by this name, the bucket is already existing, so you cannot use it. Somebody is having a bucket named JDP. This bucket name should be unique. So I give like the same name as my bucket. Then test 2021. That is also used by another user. I make it like 2022. It is available. And here also, from India, we cannot create in China's data center unless we have the Alipay data center is allowed. So I create in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur, but you can create in India, Mumbai. So I just show it with using with Mumbai. So I create in Mumbai. The storage class is standard, and then you don't need to have a versioning. And then we have this access control list. So this one you will learn with the cryptography and network security. This access control list is like what kind of privileges you give for each and every user, to give like a private access or like a public read or like a public read write. And then we have like a encryption. We have the OSS managed encryption method, which gives the AES 256, or we have the key management system, and that also we can do it. So I just choose this AES 256, and then I don't need the real-time query. And then after that, if I click this OK, it will create a bucket by that name. Okay, so if I click on it, it will create a bucket, but I just go to my already created bucket. So here there is nothing. So this is like a storage space for your website. I need to upload one image. So I just click on this upload, and then I select the files. For example, I click this image, open, and then I click on this upload. So it is uploading into my bucket. So the upload is done. So then inside the bucket, I see this image. So we see the details. So it opens like this. So here we see the object name, that is the file name, and then it has a e tag, and the validity is like this is valid for 435 seconds, and the URL is generated like this way. See, it has the bucket name over here, and then we have the access point name over here, and then the object name up to here, and then using the security key IDs expiring within that time and the access key ID and all those parameters. So now I copy this file URL, then I open a new tab and I paste it over here and click enter. It opens that file which I uploaded into the bucket. Like this, you can create your own website. You can upload all the files into there, and you can just like that. If you are, for example, in your third year or your second year, if you are learning web technology and you are learning to create your HTML files and CSS files, then you can put it in the bucket and see how it is opening. Yeah, it is possible. You can create your own small stationary stable website. Like, no, you don't need to have like a dynamic website. Like at least a static website can be done, right? So here you can give like the ACL. I give it like private. So private means only those whom I give this link can see this page. It opens because I am giving this URL. But in case if I am using without the key, I remove all the key and I use the object alone. See, you cannot see that file. You need the access with the key, that is a private key. I mentioned it as private read. So this is how you can set the access control, right? Likewise, you can add as many number of files and you can do image processing. Like you can create like for your website, if you want to add a watermark to all your images, you don't need to use Photoshop to individually add the watermarks. You can use this OSS tool to create that watermark also. So that option is also available. And then if you want to delete this, then you can click on this more and you can see this download option. You can download it and selecting the content. So many are available. So you can do like batch operation, completely delete. So the file is deleted. Now I refresh this page. The file is not found because I have deleted it, right? So this is how you can create a OSS bucket, and you can use it. For using this bucket, there is a minimal charge, like it's based on the usage. Like I created with the pay as you go option. So only when there is a traffic it will charge, but that too very minimal, like 0.1 or $0.01, something like that. It's very cheap, like less than 2 rupees or something like that. Okay, so that's about the object storage service. And now we have the certification to discuss with. So the Clouder certification, firstly you need to create an account with alibaba.com, and then you need to check whether it is valid or not in edu.alibaba.com. Sorry, it's not alibaba.com, alibabacloud.com. I will post it in the chat box. So the sample certificate looks like this. You see on the screen. So it's like an alibabacloud.com. But it doesn't matter even if you know or not, while you go through this process, you will definitely do it. So this is the certificate you will get from Alibaba Cloud. And you don't need to pay anything, and you don't need to subscribe anything in alibabacloud.com. You just get your free certification. The questions will be based on the lecture which I have given, the link I have given, and it will have if you are asked with some code, then you can use this GX7XL4 as the code. And the organizers of this event will send this link as well as the code to your email. So even after the event, if you are missing these links, you will be able to get it. Anyway, I will also post these links in the chat box after finishing the lecture. So once you click on to that, you will get into a place where you have to click on the enroll, and there you'll have the video as well as a free quiz to take. So if you click on this free quiz to take, you will be redirected to alibabacloud.com. There you have to enter your username and password and enter in, and it will open a window like this. You'll have this introduction to Alibaba Cloud. There will be like 20 questions. So you need to cross 60 points. So 20 objective type questions. So then if you clear this exam, you will be getting a certificate from this website of Alibaba Cloud itself. Okay, so the certificate will be looking something like this, and here you will have your name, and it will have a serial number, and it has a 2 years validity. So in case if you take today, it will be valid until 25th of September 2023. So that's the value of this certificate. And once you finish this certificate, you can use the hashtag of hashtag Ferdin MVP, and you can post it in your social media. So then I will forward these certificates to Alibaba Cloud to take an opportunity to congratulate you for getting the certification from my session. And that's all about my presentation. And if you have any questions, you can type on the chat box. And if you want to know about my activities, so you can get into my YouTube channel, Ferdin Speaks, and I have my code repository in GitHub and LinkedIn connections. And if you want to write to me, you can take my email. So this is my contact detail. So that's all. And if you have any questions, please post it in your chat box. Any questions? I will post these links for you. Firstly, to get the slide.
Dr. Ferdin, you said that the certificate is valid for 2 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so how to upgrade or any facility given by them to keep the certificate live for the continuous it's a lifelong learning.
Yeah, like they can retake again. During that time, I will update the content, like, because you cannot keep it more than 2 years. Like you can have the certificate in the portal and you can download it. It's just like IELTS and TOEFL certificates. You can get the certificate for 2 years, and after that we will have some more updates. Like within a year, you will have like a lot of updates coming in. So you have to keep updating your knowledge, and you can post like you can take the exam again. Then you will be able to get the new certification, which will be valid for another 2 years. So you can keep learning again and again.
Okay. To keep ourselves get updated with the new concepts which are coming in, they are having the validity as 2 years.
Yes. So I have posted the slides, and now I will post the link for the exam. So I request the organizers to take a note of these links which I provide in the chat box, and send it to the students after this session through email. Exam link. So I recommend everybody to take this certification. It's very good for your job prospects or anything. And the code GX7XL4. Okay, so if you have any other questions, you can ask. So I have given the slides. You can have the slide link, and also in the exam link, if you go to that particular page, you can have a pre-recorded video of my same presentation, but that doesn't have the demonstration which I gave, but you can have a pre-recorded one. Yes, Karthik, do you have any question?
Ferdin, I would like to ask one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Some that like IBM, they are providing some blockchain as a service. So they are having some frameworks for blockchain. So does any framework is provided by this Alibaba Cloud?
Yes, they are available with Alibaba Cloud as well.
Okay. So we can use that service as
Yes.
Thank you.
The attempt, I saw one question regarding the attempt, only one attempt. No, like if you are not able to pass in one attempt, you can retake again. So you can take as many attempts you want until you clear this exam. If you are not clear about any concept, you go to that same exam link, you will have that pre-recorded video. You can watch it, then again you can come back to take the exam. Then you will be able to answer it clearly. So I have given the offer code, and then the slides link also given, exam link is given. So I hope I have given all the resources needed. And post the certificate with the hashtag. So this hashtag is helpful for me to locate your certificates and forward to the Alibaba Cloud's international team who used to maintain this kind of certifications. So there will be the training partners in India who used to this multi-cloud for you people will share your post, like mostly in LinkedIn you can do it, like get your certificate and post it in LinkedIn. Also, you can have your own personalized badge, like you can post it in your resume. Let me show you that. If you have observed my first title slide, so here you can see this Apsara Clouder technical certificate, and then I have this Alibaba Cloud Associate Cloud Computing certification. That's why I put this one, but you can have this Apsara Clouder technical certificate. This badge you can get it from edu.alibabacloud.com after you clear the certification. Okay, so then this badge you can use it on your resume as well. So that is an advantage for you. And yeah, so this Alibaba Cloud is a technical certificate, you are doing it now. And later, if you want to do with the cloud certified associate training or anything like that, maybe you can follow my Facebook page and then you can get more information on that. So I will show that slide where you can have my contact information. So you can get more update on the upcoming trainings available from Alibaba Cloud, which is mostly free. I always give the free resources as I always share with the people. So I post those information in my Facebook page as well as my social media in LinkedIn as well. So you can follow my updates and then you can take those trainings and then you can get that cloud associate certification also. So then that is more valuable. Like once you get a cloud associate, that's more difficult than the certification I gave you today because it needs more hours of training. So then if you are able to get that, definitely your job prospect will be brighter. Definitely I can say that. So this is like an upskilling yourself or like to learn the new skill. So I hope you all enjoyed and I hope you all learned something new. So there is no limit for the number of attempts, so you don't need to worry about it. So I request all of you to please take this certification and don't miss out this opportunity. The reason why I'm saying is that this kind of certifications, if you go with the other cloud service providers, they will charge you a lot. Previously, I heard like the topmost cloud service provider, which I am not supposed to say the names, they were charging like 15,000 Indian rupees. And then Alibaba Cloud started giving everything for free. So then they started reducing the price. They have not made it free, but still today it is like 7,500 rupees, something like that. Maybe like around 100 US dollars roughly. So you need to pay that much money to get those certification, while as in Alibaba Cloud, it's totally free. So you can utilize this opportunity to get this certificate. So once you get this certificate, post it in your Facebook or your LinkedIn using the hashtag I have given, and we will find you out, and the Alibaba Cloud team may congratulate you for your efforts. Is there any other questions? Karthik, I think it's. I'm done.
So guys, do you have any questions, or shall we go ahead with the conclusion of this session? Okay, Dr. Ferdin, I guess there are no more questions from the participant side. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. So there were a lot of insights and knowledge has been shared by you. Hope all the participants, great knowledge
I
from that.
request Dr. Cloudin to mentor the students to get this certificate.
Yeah, sure, Dr. Ferdin.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Cloudin, sir, you could follow up with the KCG students, and myself and Gauri would be following up from the alumni side. Those who are interested to take the certification test.
Okay. Yeah, we can provide this information to the students and we can encourage them to get the certificate.
Okay. So I thank all the participants, Dr. Ferdin, Dr. Cloudin, and the faculty members of KCG College, and also the Alumni Association KCG Connect for organizing this wonderful session. Thanks, one and all.
Okay, so I'll take a leave.
Okay, Dr. Ferdin, you could sign off the session.
Thank you, the Alumni Association, for arranging this wonderful session.